Brought to you by Mary Mac Games and Comics. Check them out on Facebook and visit their site at marymacgames.com.
What's up YouTube, Evan from Epic Duel Time here. I wanted to take a little bit to talk about and profile the Spellbook deck that I just top 32'd the Catskill Regional on Saturday with. There was over, I think, 200 people there. It was the Catskill New York Regional. Yeah, I decided to play Spellbooks. It was one of the very, very few regionals that are in the March format versus the September format. And I thought it'd be, obviously I've been playing this deck and I do really like it. I'm excited about September, but I want to play this one more time to try to get my invite, and I succeeded. So I ended up taking 22nd. I went 6-2. And yeah, just before I get into the profile, a couple shoutouts. First shout out to Mary Mac Games and Comics, our sponsor, for helping out with being able to fund sending us, and they help us get there and everything. Then I want to shout out to Kerwin's Game Store, which is the venue. They're in Catskill, New York. Great store if you're in that area. From me, it's in New York State, not the city. And it's in probably about like 3 hours, maybe a little over 3 hours for us to get there. But it was well worth it. It was definitely a great venue. They had plenty of space, which is always an issue in regionals, but they had a ton of space to accommodate over 200 people in their venue comfortably. And it was just a really good, well-paced regional. Wasn't too cramped. Really really no complaints I could have about it. I got a chance to talk to the owner. Really nice guy. So yeah, if you guys get a chance to check them out, please do, because it's a really cool place. I know they're gonna have other regionals, no doubt. But yeah, so I'll get right into the deck profile. I wanted the emphasis of this deck versus most Spellbooks decks to be a little more toolboxy. I didn't expect a ton of Spellbooks, actually. I expected a lot of dragons, and I expected a lot of kind of off decks, random decks, I guess you could say, not, super dragon Spellbook Evil Swarm meta deck, just because I didn't think, I felt like with 3-axis Fire Fist and 4-axis Fire Fist and regular Fire Fist, and then there's like Fire Kings and all sorts of different decks, I felt like I wanted something a little more maneuverable than just Dragons and Magicians and Star Hauling and to beat over. So I wanted something a little better, and so I came up with this, and it seemed to work. First, 3 Magicians. Next, 2 Priestess. I do really love Priestess. I think this card's awesome. Ever since the first time I saw this card, I knew this card was amazing. It provided great results all day. Every time I drew it, I was able to play it. You do get so many Spellbooks in this deck that it's just, for summon conditions, very, very easy. On top of the fact that if you needed to, you could normal summon her. She's way too good. Really maneuverable, works great. Usable with Spellbook of Life. And another thing is when people side in the Kaikus against you to try to freeze out your fates, you can summon her and banish from your hand to pop Kaiku, and that does give you a real edge. And speaking of Kaiku, I run 2 of him. I am not siding a 3rd. I didn't feel that it was necessary at all. I felt that 2 was just right, and I'll explain once I get to another monster why. 1 Jowgen, 1 Justice. I felt like where I can sometimes draw kind of hands, if I can draw her, she turns those kind of mediocre hands into really, really good ones. Sometimes you just draw like Spellbooks that don't really combo off of each other and make plays, but she can help make the play for you. And also at 1600, she has a decent amount of attack points. If you draw like a power with her, she's amazing. She's beaten for 26, and it's very easy to do. Next, one Defender the Magical Knight. If I had to pick an MVP of the day, it would definitely be this card. This card's amazing. It locks your board in place a lot better. Better than Kaiku does, because obviously things can't be destroyed. Kaiku does have that problem. So if you've got Defender and Jowgen, things generally your opponent isn't really in a position to be doing a lot. And last, one Veiler. I think Effect Veiler is still very relevant. I felt like if you open it, it's good. If like a Starhawk gets blown up, you can search it. That's good. You can use this, combo this with Spellbook of Life. That's really good. I couldn't find a reason that I didn't want to run it. And I'm running 41 cards, and this could have been an easy cut. I just didn't think I needed to cut it. I thought it was good. I didn't draw a ton. I didn't have a lot to do with this throughout the event, but I also didn't have anything negative about this card. So I guess there's something to be said for that. So 11 monsters, which is I guess a lot, but I felt it was it was important. Next, 3 secrets, 3 judgment, 3 crescent, 3 star hall, 3 fate. I know some people have been doing 2, but I do think 3 is really good. I think that you can, when you draw the hands where you only have like judgment and some random spellbooks that aren't secrets and master, you can fate face down ones back to your hand. Also, it's kind of cool, like if you've got this set and you have a monster, and they end phase try to like set some cards, you can bounce one back, and so you can have something to combo with Eternity later. Next, 2 master, 2 towers, 2 power. I know a lot of people run 1. I thought this was really too important to open with, where I'm running a higher monster count. The more monsters you run, the better this card gets. 1 life, 1 eternity, and 1 wisdom. Next, 1 Book of Moon and 1 Heavy Storm. The reason for the heavy over the book, over the Dark Hole or a Reborn or anything, was I just felt like if I'm gonna push, I might as well push. I can Judgment first and then clear their back row and see if they have anything for it. But generally it works out pretty well. I just thought I didn't really need Dark Hole and I didn't really need Reborn. I just felt like this would have been better. Next, 2 Phoenix Wings. I've always been a bit of a skeptic about the card, but when you have it with Crescent, it's really good. And on top of just any book, they're all recyclable, it doesn't really matter. I used it every time I had it, it was great. I like this card a lot. 1 warning, 1 judgment. So deck total is 41. I'm going to go over the extra really briefly because I didn't use it. I never made one of these monsters all day. Every now and then I do. I didn't make it at all at the regional. So 1 Shining Elf, 1 Phoenix, 1 Herald of Pure Light, 1 Gotchi, 1 Black Corn, 1 Direwolf, 1 Gagaga Cowboy, 1 Catastor, 1 Armades, 1 Tempest Magician, 1 Arcanite Magician, 1 Black Rose Dragon, 1 Crimson Blader, a Scrap Dragon, and a Stardust. Again, I'm not going to talk about it because I didn't really summon them. You can feel free to change it if you're going to play it. For the next format, obviously the Ixies will still be the same. Next, for side deck, I feel like this is really where I was able to push a lot of my wins at the regional. I just thought I set it really well. 2 Maxi. And this is important, especially if you're going to go turn 2. So if you're playing against dragons and you win game 1, you side this because at that point they're going to have the first turn, and if they go off into a Draco Sec, you can actually avoid them going into it at all. Sometimes they'll push through it just because they can, but a lot of times they won't just because they haven't seen your hand yet. And unless they have Big Eye Eradicator, they're not going to do it. They generally stop. 3-Dimensional Fisher. This was really good against decks that played a lot of hand traps. I do play these sometimes against dragons. Against Mermail, Fire Kings. I know 3-Axis use Synchro stuff from the grave, so this can help. I actually set this in against a Laval Quasar deck, so I was really glad to have them. 2 MST. This put in a lot of work. 1 wisdom. This was from the mirror match, any back row heavy deck. I never went in. I never used it. 3 mind drains. With the format what it was, you wouldn't run any fewer. 2 Curse Seal, the Forbidden Spell. This card's just too important. If I had played a mirror match, I would have sided this in. I sided it in against a Boojin player, but I didn't draw it. But this is really good against Fire Fist because if you hit their Tenki with it, they can't play Tenki for the rest of the game. That's pretty fun. I was going to play Soul Drain, 2 Soul Drains, but I settled on these 2 cards instead. 1 Compulse and 1 Memory of an Adversary. The Memory actually was pretty good. If people who don't know what it does, just look it up. It's just a really good card. And Compulse was really important. It actually saved me when I was on the bubble. It was game 2 of a match against Dragons, and I won game 1. And I prevented a Synchro Summon using it, and I had the Mind Drain up, and I bounced the title back to his hand, and he couldn't really do anything, so I was able to win from there. That's really all there is to the deck. There's no real explanation about it. I mean, it was a good regional. My only losses were to a Dragon player game 1, round 1. He really knew what he was doing. He was a good player, and he had card destruction 2 of our 3 games, and on game 3 he drew into Blaster and blasted out my Dragon, and then I lost to a Madolche player who had DNA surgery, and right when I needed to attack with like a powered up Magician and all souped up from Star Halls, he had the DNA surgery, so that sucked. But past that, everything else was pretty good. I wouldn't change too much. Maybe the side deck for a different format, and obviously the main deck would change. I know this isn't super relevant to this format, but I thought it would be interesting. It's nice to have my invite so that I can play the rest of the format and enjoy it. Still going to regionals, still going to events, because I want to play as much as possible this format. But it's just nice to have that a bit of the pressure off of having an invite. So that's all settled. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and keep dueling, America.